So good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday, May 26th. I hope that people were able to have a restful weekend and spend some time at home with family, and still use those precautions, those social distancing precautions, those things that we've got to do, because we're still in red phase, and red phase is ending next Friday, which is tremendous news. It feels like some sort of graduation, so that we can graduate into yellow phase. We are still getting information about what yellow phase really means, and we'll be getting out information to you in the coming days as we figure it out ourselves. I'm excited that on Friday, Mayor Derek Slaughter from Williamsport will be joining me at the top of the town hall. Mayor Williamsport has been in yellow phase for a few weeks now, so Mayor Slaughter and I will have a conversation. He'll walk me through some of the challenges and some of the good things that they've met in Williamsport in these last few weeks, to help us talk through what I should know going in, what all of you should know going into yellow phase, how we can plan for it best, and certainly I hope it's something that we're all looking forward to. Yellow phase, however, doesn't mean that this crisis is over. I don't want it to seem like we are really graduating up and out of COVID. Like COVID isn't just gone poof with yellow phase. It is still very much here. I know over the course of the weekend there were images from across the country where the beaches opened up and kids, young people were out partying and going about business as usual. That's not what we want to see happen, because the virus is really still here. I personally have a friend who's in the hospital with COVID right now. While numbers have gone down and the death rate has gone down, that doesn't mean the virus isn't still here. People are still contracting this virus, and it's not something that we can just shirk off and say that it's behind us. So we still have to work very, very hard. Sorry, if there's somebody that's not on mute on the phone line, do you mind please muting? Thank you. So we really just have to stay vigilant. We have to continue to think, just like we've been saying for months now, who is it that you're going home to? Maybe you are somebody that is confident that you'll get through COVID, but the person that you go see, when you visit, to the extent that we start to visit our family again, if you start to visit your grandmother, you visit your parent, you visit somebody else who has an ailing parent, you have to really be thoughtful about who they might be bringing that virus home to. So we have to really thoughtfully plan in these next 2 weeks for yellow phase and figure out how we're going to do this. I would say the biggest thing for me that I'm concerned about is masks. The data does show that the masks are helping. I know the social distancing is helping, but the masks especially are really a sign of respect for each other. I went up to Naog Park yesterday for a very small memorial, and everyone there was wearing masks. The handful of us that were there laying a wreath at the World War I monument, we were all wearing masks. But the people walking around Naog Park who weren't wearing masks, it makes other people feel uncomfortable. Please don't make other people feel uncomfortable. It's easy to wear the masks. It's annoying, but if we all do it, we all just kind of suck it up and do it. It really would be helpful. I had an interesting conversation with my father, who's in Oregon right now. Oregon, just south of Washington, where one of the first outbreaks was. It surprised me, but in Oregon, stores are not requiring masks for entry. My father was expressing how he was frustrated because walking down in some of these tight aisles at the grocery store, other people didn't have masks on, and it felt dangerous to him. It feels dangerous to other people out there who know people who might be at risk. If we all just wear the masks, then we'll all feel a little bit more comfortable. It doesn't mean we don't need to still distance and sanitize and wash our hands. That's just the new normal. But wearing the masks really, really does make a difference. And so it's part of just what we're going to have to be doing for quite some time now. Masks, I saw them. I actually went to Wegmans yesterday for the first time in months. It was lovely. I wore my mask, of course, but I saw that they had a big display of masks. I think Garrity's has masks. A lot of the retailers now have masks, and we still do have masks with the city. If you want, you can call us at 348-4101, and we'll hook you up with a mask if you need those for you and your family. Remember, kids 2 and under do not need to wear masks. That's dangerous for them, but over that limit, we want to be wearing masks in public. So please do your one of 3 civic duties we'll talk about today. One is wearing masks. 2 is voting, and 3 is answering the census. So it's one of those little things that you can do. All 3 of these things are 3 little things that you can do right now to make your voice heard, get the money that our community needs, and of course protect each other from the COVID virus. So please keep those things in mind. Overnight, there were 2 deaths in Lackawanna County from the virus. There were 9 new cases. So we're trending in the right way. And for that, we are all very grateful. But it doesn't mean that we can't contract it. It doesn't mean that the virus might be coming back and could, really, really accelerate again at some point. So we need to remain vigilant, and we need to be respectful of each other on that. I know that there is a tremendous amount of frustration about opening up, and I hear that. I hear the business owners. I hear the employees. I hear people who are friends and family and loved ones of business owners. It is really difficult. There's no getting around it. It's been awful. It's been awful. I'm scared. I'm scared about businesses having to close. That's something that we'll try to mitigate as best as we can. I've been talking to a lot of business owners. We do have that relief fund in the hopper. We're getting the legislation up so that we can consider it along with City Council, which is very, very exciting, and try to offer relief in the form of grants and loans. But I know that what we do here locally won't be enough to save some of our businesses, and it's a tragedy that runs right alongside some of these cases and these deaths. Losing a business feels like a death. That's the reality of it, and it is devastating to hear some of the business owners' stories that they don't know if they'll be able to reopen, or they don't know if they can make it through, depending on how severe these measures continue to be. So please don't take me continuing, or us at the city here continuing to promote all of these measures. We're promoting all these health measures, but it doesn't mean that we aren't fully cognizant of the downsides to this. Both of those things can be true at the same time, and we're trying to find all the ways that we can help you. So we're getting all the legislation ready for that Open Streets program. We're very excited about that, and then also those relief funds as well. So it's important that we understand that there are a lot of things that are true at the same time. There's so much data coming out. It's really hard to parse through things. I'll look at my phone in the morning, and overnight people have sent me everything from COVID is coming back worse than ever, and we've got to remain vigilant, and this is still extraordinarily serious, to we should have never closed in the first place, and lockdown doesn't work. So you can find data, you can find stories, you can find things everywhere that you can shape an argument from. You can shape an argument that we should have never locked down at all. You can shape an argument that we should remain locked down. It spans the entire spectrum, and so we have to be responsible and try to do all of these things at once. It is hard. The hard work is now. I really do think that the harder work is in front of us. As we see these dropping numbers, we're thrilled that those numbers are dropping, but we have to go out. We have to save our economy, essentially. And from my seat here, it's great to be at City Hall today. It's not, the city is suffering too. The city, those revenue numbers are not pretty. They're not going to be pretty. And I talked to my friends in the state and across the country, and we don't know what we're going to do with these revenue losses. We just don't know. It's everywhere. It's kind of like a virus. It hits healthy people. It hits weak people. In this case, Scranton's current cash flow is okay, but long term, we all know, it's no secret, we have some massive long-term liabilities that we cannot handle. How we continue to operate every single service is a challenge as we face dropping earned income revenue, dropping property tax revenue. It's very, very difficult to figure out how we're going to do this. We're going to do it. We're going to be okay. It's going to take a lot of work, and for me personally, it's an honor to be able to be part of the team that's going to be doing that work, but it's going to be really, really hard. So my promise is that I won't only think about the city of Scranton's finances and ignore what's happening in the broader economy in the city. I can't ignore, I will not ignore the public health pieces. We have to figure out how to put all of these things together and make solutions that work for the most of us at the same time. So it's going to be a true challenge. I need everyone out there to be right there with us and do the little things like wear masks, do the little things like pay your refuse bill on time if you can, pay your property taxes now if you can. All of that helps us. That helps us be more confident about our services going forward into the next month, the next couple of years. That enables us to be even more thoughtful and helpful as we look at the broader economy around us. So please continue to keep sending in your stories and your thoughts. We had Connie Bennett from Vanity Salon on Friday. And if you are a business owner and you want to have a conversation with us about what you think would be helpful as we move into the yellow phase and beyond, shoot us a note at scranton311@scrantonpa.gov, and we'll get you going into that conversation with the other local businesses and how we can move forward well. We have a lot to learn from the other counties in Pennsylvania that have gone to yellow. We have a lot to learn from other states who have more phases than we do. We have a very clear red, yellow, green. A lot of other states have a kind of a more gradual scale of reopening. I think that as we go into the yellow phase, we should look at what other counties, not only other counties, like we'll be talking to Mayor Slaughter from Williamsport on Friday. What have other counties done well? What have other cities like Williamsport done well? What could they, if they went back, what could they do a little bit better? That's of course a big question that I'll be asking. But what are the other states doing, and are there things that we can take from them and apply here? So, those are the big things that we need to look at. In the near term, we have a lot of questions. I know you guys have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. I won't be able to answer them all today because I'm hoping that some of the guidance for yellow will be a little bit more clear as we approach next Friday. And I'll be talking to a lot of people in these yellow counties so that I understand what it is that's allowed, what's not, and then maybe what are the things that we need to be asking for. I have asked the governor to loosen restrictions within this red phase. I don't think that will probably happen, but we're pleased that yellow phase is coming maybe sooner than it could have. And so as we go into yellow phase, what are the things that we can be doing? I know we got a few questions about yard sales. That's another one. It's still unclear on that one. I kind of have my feelings about it. I think it maybe should be allowed, but it's not my feelings that are going to drive this. It's the data, it's the guidance from the governor, and that's how we have to operate. So we'll get you those more detailed answers in the coming days as we are able to look at this a little bit more thoroughly and learn from those other counties that have gone before. I'm going to just kind of hop around today. Not having the guest gives us a little bit more time to talk through some of these things. So let's just talk about a little bit about what we know about yellow phase. So the work and congregation restriction. So telework must continue where feasible. So I'm at the office today, but most everyone's still working from home. As we go into yellow phase, I think some of our employees here at the city might be working from the office more than they were, but we're still teleworking as much as we can. And I don't plan to open the city buildings to the public quite yet. I don't feel comfortable just taking that off yet. So we'll still be doing some remote work, and that's still the guidance from the state. Businesses with in-person operations must follow the business and building safety orders. We'll get all of these out in a kind of a toolkit. We'll release that out to you all, so it's very clear. Childcare can open complying with guidance. That's a huge one for yellow phase. Faith-based institutions and prison restrictions remain in place, and schools remain closed for in-person instruction. So instead of gatherings of more than 10 prohibited, now it will be, and this is again June 5th, not yet, everybody, don't get too excited. Large gatherings of more than 25 are prohibited. So that goes up. Okay. I'm going to answer, because I'm on my phone, I'm only going to see these questions as they come in. Let me try to answer some of them. So Cheryl's asking about the recycling center. We don't know yet, but we will absolutely get you that answer, Cheryl. I know a lot of people have that question, will this recycling center reopen? So I'm certainly hoping that it does, and we'll get you that information hopefully by Friday. So what is very exciting, very, 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 very exciting for our retail is that in-person retail is allowed under yellow. You still need to be following those CDC and Department of Health guidelines. You only should have, a few people in the store, and curbside and delivery are still preferable. But I'm looking forward to some of our wonderful retail businesses around the city to opening. And I really am really looking forward to that. I know we all are. So that's an exciting piece of going to yellow. Now, unfortunately, what doesn't help, restaurants and bars are still carry out and delivery only. Like I said, there's a spectrum. You could go to, there's images or there's drawings of a restaurant in Wuhan, China, where somebody spread the virus to everybody in the restaurant. And there's people that would say this doesn't matter. We should just have bars open and we can pack 100 people into these bars. You can find information and opinion for the entire spectrum. What we're going to do is follow what the governor would like us to do. The governor has more experts at his disposal than we certainly do here locally in our local government. But it is also frustrating. Both of those things are true. The governor's doing what he feels he needs to do. It's also true that it's frustrating. It's also true that we're very nervous about our restaurants and bars. So I continue to have regular calls with the hospitals, the infectious disease specialists. They are still very concerned about this virus. I can absolutely tell you that. They've been very pleased with the good work of everyone out in the community, that we've been able to really, really keep the cases and the deaths down from what it could have been. But they remain very worried about what this looks like as we open up, and they don't want to see us just rip the lid off and be back to normal. So Adam's asking if he feels this is fair. That's a good question. Fair is an interesting thing to ask. Is it fair? Well, what we've had to do is put public health first, and I'm not sure that I know that we haven't had enough business support. I think the federal government, the PPP program has been good. We need, I would argue, either relaxed restrictions or another round of that with relaxed restrictions. We need to be doing more here at the local level. We've got that fund almost ready to go. I'm thrilled about that. But I know that a loan of up to $20,000 isn't enough to save some businesses. A business that was well capitalized previous to COVID is maybe doing okay, but if you're a business that's still closed during yellow phase and you're going into month 3 and 4 of being closed, even a well-capitalized business, that's a third of a year is an incredibly long time to not be open. So, I can't say it's a question of fairness. I think we are just in an unprecedented time where we've had terrible decisions to make. We've acted and made decisions that have had consequences. And now it's on all of us as leaders to see where those consequences are and do everything we can to help those businesses, to help those employees, to help our economy come back. And it's an effort like none we've ever seen before. It's different than the financial crisis in a lot of ways, because this isn't, it's worse. It's many, many times worse. Those unemployment numbers are we've never seen anything like this. We all know that 30 million, 40 million people unemployed, whatever that current number is. We've never in our lifetime seen anything like this. So we have a tremendous amount of work to do. And Adam, I'm not going to give you a yes or no on whether it's fair, but I appreciate that question, and it gives me a lot to think about. These are the things that I do think about a lot, and I try to read that whole spectrum of news and opinion to see kind of where I land. And so, there are some days where it's hard for me too. Absolutely. So we're going to do whatever we can, and we need everyone out there to get in touch with us and let us know what are the things that you need. Okay, let's see. I like that, Sharon. Vincenzo's Pizza is back open. Awesome. Okay. So restaurant and bars carry out only in yellow phase, just as the same as it is now, which is tough. I cannot wait to go out and have a meal in a restaurant. It's one of my favorite things to do with my partner, and we can't wait to go. So also in yellow phase, unfortunately, gyms, spas, hair salons, nail salons, massage parlors, those are still closed. And same with entertainment, casinos, theaters are still closed. Hopefully yellow phase isn't very long. Hopefully our numbers still trend in the right way and we can go to green, but it's scary. It really, really is scary. Okay, Anne Moore asks, there should be a list of local businesses that are open. That's a great idea. We've tried to keep everything up on our website, but you're right, we haven't done a comprehensive list, so I think that's a great project for us to do this week. So thank you for that suggestion, Anne. Okay, so let's see. Yep. So the actual virus itself, remember that there's an expanded list of symptoms: cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, fever, chills, shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, new loss of taste or smell. This is still very relevant. Now we have a new, so you still need to call 1-877-PA Health or Geisinger at 284-3657 if you have symptoms and want to get tested. We do have new testing, which is very exciting. So CVS on Davis Street is one of 27 sites in Pennsylvania that are where CVS is offering testing. So pre-register for testing at cvs.com and set up an appointment. So that's brand new. CVS right here in Scranton, 509 Davis Street. That's great news. So that's new. Now in Luzerne County, the Mohegan Sun Arena is closing May 29th at 4. So if you want to get tested down at Mohegan Sun, that's just through this week. And Rite Aid is still doing the testing at 20 South River Street in Plains or East Stroudsburg. So it's riteaid.com for that. And then Lake Scranton Urgent Care is doing antibody testing. So 1141 Music Street. If you have had symptoms in the past or been in contact with somebody with COVID, you can go to Lake Scranton Urgent Care and get an antibody test. So we've said before, those antibody tests are not, we don't all know what they mean. The specialists aren't quite sure what the antibody tests mean. If it makes you feel better, go get one. But the results aren't necessarily some ironclad, yes, you had it, no, you didn't, or you're immune. It's still up in the air. So that piece isn't firmed up yet. But you can go to Lake Scranton Urgent Care to get that. If you want to participate in the governor's new civilian coronavirus corps, they will train you. They will hire you to do contact tracing. This is absolutely key to us being able to fully reopen. You go to serve.pa.gov, serv.pa.gov, and you can sign up to help in that contact tracing program. So that's huge. It's really huge. Okay. All right, so we'll kick it over to some questions. Okay, well, sorry, I forgot. How could I forget? Election day. So today at 5 p.m. is the deadline to request a mail-in ballot. So votespa.com, request a mail-in ballot. Next Tuesday, a week from today, next Tuesday, June 2nd, 8 p.m., your voted ballots must be received by the county election office. You can mail it back, or if you can make it out, drop it off in the drop box located at the entrance of the county building at 123 Wyoming Avenue. Voting by mail-in ballot is, it's safe, your vote will count. It keeps you from having to go to the polls on June 2nd so that we aren't all slammed at the polls and not social distancing. We'll still be under yellow phase, and this is really hard for me too. Both things are true. I want everybody to vote. I also want people to social distance and not go out when they don't need to. Both those things are true at the same time. mail-in ballots are the way to mitigate that. So you still have, by 5 p.m. today, you can still go to votespa.com, request that mail-in ballot application, turn it around as fast as you can, and then you can still vote by mail. I know my mom, I asked her to put a note in the Facebook comments here. She's been voting at home for decades, and it really makes it easy. It gives you time to be thoughtful and have your ballot and really think about some of those things that maybe you had questions on, especially when there's lots of different ballot initiatives. So really encourage that, and especially even if maybe you've already voted by mail this time. I know the county's done a great job doing that. We got to exercise these muscles now so that in November we are able to really ramp up that mail-in voting, because as we know, just having the one day is not enough. Having the one day of voting in November, if something happens and you're not able to get there, if you're sick or a loved one is sick or your car breaks down, you can't get to the polling place, your vote doesn't count, and it matters tremendously. So definitely votespa.com by 5 p.m. today to get your mail-in ballot. And don't forget, if you haven't done that, next Tuesday, June 2nd, the polls will be open, I believe, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And there are many new polling locations around the county, and we will make sure that you get that link. We'll continue to put that link up so you know where to go. Of course, if your old polling place is closed, for example, 2 of our firehouses are still closed to the public, they won't be a polling place, but we'll put a sign up, obviously, that shows you where to go. It's neither of those changes are far away. You won't have to do that. Okay. Let me click through here, just one second. Okay, and then Friends of the Poor is next. Emergency drive-through food giveaway tomorrow, the 27th, 2:30 to 5:30 at PNC Fields. It's a bit of a hike, PNC Fields. All right. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, lots of questions today. Sorry, I'm still here. I'm just looking for a couple things. Okay. Okay. All right. So okay. Questions. If you receive a mail-in ballot, can you still vote in person? No. The answer is no. It's one or the other. Either you mail-in ballot or you vote in person. Your vote will be counted. I guarantee you it will be counted. I know the county's got a great plan in place next week to count those mail-in ballots. Your vote will count. Let's see. Sharon's asking, can Boscov's open? Yes, they can. Retail can open. Tommy, can we pay the garbage bill in person? So you can not pay in person right now, and we are no longer accepting cash. So it's credit card, over the internet, check, or money order. You can mail a check or money order to City Treasury. We're here at 340 North Washington Avenue. Okay, I'll do a couple of those. So we've got a couple of questions about the truck 4 in the fire department. So there's a lot of information out there that's not accurate. The truck 4 is sometimes closed when when there's not sufficient staffing for it. There's been no cut to the fire department. There have been no furloughs for firefighters at all. Full stop. No cuts, no furloughs to the Scranton Fire Department to the firefighters. So truck 4 has been shut, I think it's almost 1,000 days in the last 8 years or so. I'll get the exact data, but it's been shut hundreds and hundreds of times over the years. And that is not due to any furloughs. It is not due to any cuts to the fire department. The way that we have tried to staff the trucks during this time of COVID has been to try to keep the different shifts not from overlapping, and also to keep the firehouses clean between shifts. It's required a lot of work, and again, there's some information out there that might make it seem that there have been cuts. There have been no cuts. So we are very, very, very serious about keeping police, fire, and public works and our code enforcement departments where they need to be in order to serve the citizens of Scranton. So I appreciate the questions. I'm happy to answer those questions. We can go in more detail about that at some point, but really, really I appreciate you coming to me. This is why I like to have these conversations. We can talk about it so that we don't have a situation where people start to get information that isn't correct. John is asking, is it too late to complete the census? The answer is an emphatic no. The census is still very, very much open. So my2020census.gov, please fill that out. Please fill that out. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I see. Okay, Sarah, there you go. So Rob, thanks. When I say the firehouses are closed to the public, they are not closed. They are not closed. They're closed to the public. So during the state of emergency, the public cannot go into our firehouses. So that's what I mean. Next on voting day, June 2nd, we aren't using the firehouses as polling locations because those firehouses are closed to the public. They are not closed firehouses. So see, this is good. We get to have a conversation about this. Okay. And I cannot stress enough that those firehouses are open. They are open. All right. Trisha wants a curfew for teens in the city. That is not something that we're interested in doing. We don't want to be imposing curfews. That's something of a last resort. Trisha, if you have particular issues for why you would want a curfew, I would ask that you write into us, and we'll check in with the police department. But curfews are really difficult to enforce, and I think that they are, again, just very, very much a last resort. Let's see. Ashley is asking for a timeline for when bars and restaurants can open. So bars and restaurants in under phase, which we're not. We go to yellow phase June 5th. Green phase hopefully will be not too far after. It's still a question as to how much capacity they can be at, and that's where we're really worried about our restaurants and bars, because most restaurants and bars can't function at less than 80-50% capacity. That's just not going to be a problem. So that's going to be tough in green phase. Do that, and they'll go check that out. Okay, so Leandra is asking about, if you're on disability, are you able to fill out the census? Absolutely. So the census, I'm not sure what I guess the being on disability is no bearing on your eligibility to answer the census. every human living in Scranton, in Lackawanna County, needs to be counted. My baby counted. Someone doesn't matter if you're in a nursing home or what have you. Everyone needs to count. So, Leandria, if your question is more about how does somebody who has disabilities respond, there you can do online or over the phone or by mail. So you can call if you want to call. I need that. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through the. So if you want to call 844-330-2020, so 844-330-2020, then you can ask questions. But being on disability, I mean that you count. You absolutely count. Every person counts. My daughter has a onesie. She was wearing it yesterday. It says, "This baby counts." So all humans count, but not cats and dogs, not pets. Okay. So that's their piece. Okay. So Tamara is asking about symptoms for kids. I will ask I have a call set for tomorrow with our infectious disease specialist. So I will ask those doctors tomorrow what we should be guiding on symptoms for kids. I don't want to go pull those myself because I want to hear it from them. So I'll have that phone call tomorrow with the hospitals. We'll ask about the kids' symptoms and we'll get you an answer. We'll try to send something out, but then we'll also answer that on Friday. Then Robert's asking about, is the office going to be open to fill out rent rebates? So I'm not sure when we will be open to the public again. I'm nervous about opening to the public. It's a very large building, as you all know, and I'm concerned about what it would take to continuously clean the building for the public. You can imagine that's a big task. So we will get information. I don't know on the rent rebate, so we will get you that information. We'll get you the recycling information. We'll get you kids' symptoms. We'll get garage sales, and we'll get a full set of answers as we can in the coming days. So John, on the when will the city allow more outdoor seating in front of restaurants? So we're working on that plan. We're going to get that legislation through to council, and we're also in touch with the Liquor Control Board. So we can try to get them to relax. I don't think we're the only people asking for them to relax their 30-day posting in order to allow outdoor seating, but alcohol to be served outdoors. It doesn't make a lot of sense why you wouldn't be able to have liquor inside and then not be able to serve it outside on the sidewalk. I'm not sure why that is such a stringent rule from the Liquor Control Board, so we're in touch with them and we're working on that. Okay, so wanted to make this one pretty quick and painless today. We'll get you answers to these questions, and we'll continue to have all of these conversations. I appreciate to Rob and Ann's questions. I appreciate you asking me questions so that we have answers that are out there, and we aren't perpetuating things that people hear through the grapevine. That's really, really helpful. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you for sticking with us and getting us your ideas and your thoughts. We're going to continue to do what we can to get the information out there, get all the info out to our business owners. Call us 341-4101, email us scranton311@scrantonpa.gov. We're here for you. This is all of us together doing this, and we are trying to stay, and we will continue to be as accessible as possible. Once we go into yellow phase, we'll probably do these town halls once a week, just to make sure that we're getting you all the information. I want to continue to do these town halls every single week, and hopefully, as we go into these next couple of weeks, the death rate, the case rate will go down enough that we can feel comfortable just doing them once a week. So thank you all very, very much. 5 p.m. today, again, go on votespa.com, ask for that mail-in ballot so that you can vote by mail. You don't have to go to the polls next week. And we will see you on Friday at noon right here, Facebook Live, Zoom for audio. Mayor Slaughter from Williamsport will join us. You'll really, really enjoy him. He is also a new mayor and has some amazing ideas, and we are in touch all the time trying to figure out what we can do better for our communities. So we'll see you then, and thank you so much. Don't forget to get that mail-in ballot.